Hello Internet, welcome to Retro Video Game Weekly. This is Ronald Belmont, back from a short stint in rehab. I want to personally say thank you to all my fans for their cards, letter, and support during my recent rehabilitation. I'm going to tell you that an addiction to Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt is not a laughing matter, but I'm taking my addiction one day at a time. Am I reading these cue cards right? It says November is Sega month? Oh, okay, on Michael B. the Game Genie's channel. You can go check out all his regularly scheduled programming with a unique Sega flair, such as his game pickups from the new Adventure Island, the Sega episode, or Game Genie review on one of his favorite ever Sega games. Go check out his channel now. I'm going to be checking it out. Hopefully he does something with the Sega CD. That's my personal favorite. We'll be right back with this week's guest after a message from our sponsor.
When you're not subscribed to the Sega Stoner, you don't know about the best Sega has to offer. When you don't know about the best Sega has to offer, you play mediocre games like Echo the Dolphin. When you play mediocre games like Echo the Dolphin, you decide to go swimming outdoors, in the nude. When you go swimming outdoors in the nude, you get caught by your 3-year-old niece. Don't get caught swimming in the nude by your 3-year-old niece. Subscribe to the Sega Stoner today.
This week's guest is a very talented YouTuber on the rise, the Weekend Game Guy. How's it going, WGG?
Oh, hello, Mr. Belmont. You are looking very fly as usual. I'm awfully sorry I didn't get more dressed up. All my cardigans are dirty, so, you know.
Thank you. I do look good, don't I? So, Weekend Game Guy 1, why did you start your channel?
Yeah, my channel. I started my channel because in recent years there's been a huge group of reviewers that have just kind of done this negativity thing, like this game sucks, and reviewing bad games, so to speak. And I was getting a little bored with that because everyone, I mean, there's a place for it, no doubt, but there was a lot of people that were just honestly jumping on a bandwagon and copying, you know, some of the more popular YouTubers out there. And I didn't want to be one of those guys. You know, I wanted to inject some positivity into the gaming community and into reviewing, so to speak. I wanted to do something a little more positive. And so I started the channel. And I came up with the Weekend Game Guy idea because, personally, I work a 40-hour-a-week job. And my particular position, I'm in bed at like 9 o'clock at night. So really the only time I get to play video games is on the weekend. So I am a weekend game guy, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that can identify with my my position.
So where did you get the idea for the series, Weekend Game Guy?
Yeah, the show. The show was birthed out of playing some games with a buddy of mine and just kind of talking about the game while we were playing it. And as a joke, we just said, well, I wonder what it would be like to play this against Mr. Rogers. And we started joking about it, and, you know, one thing led to another, and that kind of became the vehicle. You know, I said I wanted to inject positivity. Well, I can't think of anybody friendlier or more positive than Mr. Rogers. So I kind of came up with this character that is a lot like Mr. Rogers, super friendly, trying to be your best friend, but still loves video games, and sometimes he gets beat up on a little bit and everything else. But yeah, so it was birthed out of a love for Mr. Rogers and a love for video games and a desire to put those together to express that positive vibe that I wanted to bring to the community.
Very interesting. Actually, your wife is in a recent episode of Weekend Game Guy. Does she actually like gaming?
Yeah, within the first night of the most recent episode of Weekend Game Guy coming out, my inbox, my personal message inbox was flooded with quite a few questions about, well, does she actually game, or is she just being nice, or was she trying to help you out, or blah blah blah. Well, the truth is, she was trying to help me out. I'd gotten sick with a virus and lost my voice, and everything was crazy. And I was not faking that voice in the episode. I was actually sick and I had lost my voice. So the only way I could shoot for the month was to have her do it for me. So we came up with this character, kind of like the Magic School Bus kind of thing, and spoofed Miss Frizzle a little bit, and yeah, I think it turned out great, and she does actually like gaming. My wife actually genuinely enjoys gaming. She's not a freak or anything like many of us, but she does enjoy it, and I think that's one of the reasons why the recent episode went so well, is because Dr. Mario happens to be one of her favorite games. I've got some ideas for future episodes where she gets to play some more of her favorites. I actually got one planned for her all-time favorite. So, yeah, she actually genuinely likes to play. There are some days she worries about the size of my collection, but she actually genuinely does love to play.
Very cool. Now, as you might have heard earlier in the episode, I'm a huge fan of the Sega CD. Do you have a favorite system that you like to play or collect for?
Do I have a favorite system? Yes, and that's not a very hard question to answer. Actually, my favorite system is my Neo Geo AES. It's arcade perfection at home, and a lot of the greatest fighting games ever released were released on the Neo Geo, not to mention some other great games out there. So that would have to be my favorite system ever. I mean, I could probably sell everything in this room. As long as I still had that, I think I would be alive. Otherwise, I'd probably freak out. A very close second would definitely be my TurboGrafx 16. But the Neo Geo is on the top of the list by far. Excellent, excellent system.
You mentioned earlier your wife may be concerned about the size of your collection. So do you collect anything other than video games?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. I primarily lean toward collecting video games and video game related merchandise, be it figures or the games themselves, strategy guides, things like that. I do kind of have a tendency toward that, but some other stuff I do collect. I collect anime and anime related merchandise. I have like a full set of the Neon Genesis figures, and I have a pretty nice anime collection. I also collect comic books. I have a nearly complete set of Wolverines up through 1996 or something like that. I have a pretty nice stack of Wolverine comic books. And I have a pretty nice stack of Spawn comic books. I have like 1 through 70 something, or so I have a pretty ridiculous stack. I've got plenty of other comic books, but those I like consistently collected for a long time. So yeah, I do collect other stuff, you know, comic books and anime. I also recently got into collecting VHS tapes. It's really strange, but I like picking up movies on VHS, in particular Godzilla movies. So, yeah.
Well, Weekend Game Guy, that's about all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Nah, man, thank you. Thank you so much for interviewing me and giving me this opportunity to just share a little bit more about myself. So, yeah, Weekend Game Guy 1. Make sure you check out the channel. Thanks a lot. Thanks again, Mr. Belmont.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is Ronald Belmont signing off for Retro Video Game Weekly.